Good afternoon and welcome to the Municipality of Thames Centre Regular Council Meeting, Monday, December 13th, 2021 at 1 p.m. At this point in time, I'm sure everyone is up to date on the latest variant of the pandemic. I won't go into great detail, but I am relieved to see the vaccination rollout, including the new age group 5 to 11 and the opening of the boosters to 50 and up. We're in much better shape than we were in 2020 at this time. Even though it seems discouraging at times, we actually are ahead of the game and working to eradicate this pandemic. At this time, I'd like to congratulate Councillor Heeman and his wife, Susan Judd, on the birth of Edward William Heeman last night. We're pretty excited about that, and we'll look forward to seeing him in person and on the screen. So good times to come, Tom. And this is our last meeting of 2021. And I would like to extend all the best to the holiday season to my fellow council members, staff, and residents of Thames Centre. May you enjoy your family, may you enjoy your friends, and create some memories. And all the best. See you in 2022. Thank you. So now I'm going to ask this meeting to call to order. Are there any additions to the agenda?
No additions.
Okay. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest thereof? Nope, seeing none. Announcements. Any announcements? Deputy Mayor Elliott.
Yes, through your worship, just being that this is the last council meeting before New Year's Eve, I would find it prudent just to announce that the Special Events Committee is planning some New Year's Eve activities for families in Thames Centre. We are planning free skates at the Flight Exec Center in Dorchester, as well as a movie night at the Thorndale Lions Community Center. So we're still finalizing details, but just so the public is aware to watch for updates on that and how to plan New Year's Eve with everyone.
Thank you. Again, a bit of a scaled down model from what we usually have, but trying to do what we can throughout these times. So now I'm going to ask for a resolution to adjourn the regular meeting in order to convene as a committee of adjustment under the Planning Act. Councillor Hunter, seconded by Councillor Heeman. All in favor? All right. So to assist with this meeting process today for all planning applications, there'll be a 5-minute limit for all public comments, questions, or concerns. We encourage you only to participate in speaking if you have new additional information that is not already addressed. So again, the purpose of this hearing is to consider an application for minor variance as submitted by the applicant, Jason and Teresa Hutton, property location being 4936 Dorchester Road. So I'm going to ask the planning director to provide an overview of the application.
Thank you, Your Worship. So the purpose of this application is to provide relief from the municipality's zoning bylaw to permit an accessory building in the form of a detached garage currently under construction, which exceeds the maximum height requirement. Just for some background, the subject property, it is a half-acre lot situated in the hamlet of Gladstone. And the lands are zoned for hamlet residential purposes and also designated hamlet under the official plan. The property contains a single-story dwelling, which is serviced by a private well and septic system. And just for some history, to explain where we're at or how we've gotten to where we're at. A building permit was issued to allow the detached garage construction with a floor area of 90 square meters and a height of 5 meters. It was later determined by building staff that the building under construction exceeded the height requirement, where it was really 5.79 meters, a difference of 0.79 meters. Also, it's important to note that the maximum allowable floor area for an accessory building is 90 square meters or 75% the floor area of a dwelling, whichever is the lesser. Planning staff determined that the maximum allowable floor area is 85.7 square meters, which is equivalent to 75% of the floor area of the dwelling. So it was also determined that the building under construction actually has a floor area of 103 square meters, which exceeds the maximum floor area requirement by 17.3 square meters. So as a result, the applicant has amended their variance application and will also be seeking relief from the floor area requirement. So the detached garage, it is located in the rear yard in the southeast corner of the property. And otherwise, it is in full compliance with other zoning requirements. The applicant has noted that the building is to be used for personal storage purposes, including the storage of a motorhome. I've conducted my analysis, Your Worship, as noted in my report under Section 3, and I'm satisfied that all of the tests under the Planning Act have been met. In terms of comments received from the county engineer and from our drainage superintendent, as well as from our director of public works and the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority, they either have no comment or no objection. In the circulation of the application to members of the public, we do have, sorry, Your Worship, if you could just give me a second here. I'm having some technical difficulties. My mouse is not working like it should be. And I don't know what the issue is. Anyway, I'll do my best, Your Worship, moving forward.
Okay.
In terms of comments received from the public, yeah, I'm not getting anywhere, Your Worship.
I
If you
think
could just give me-
I think IT is on their way down to help you. Just one
Okay,
second.
thank you.
All right, so we're just waiting for an update on this computer that's being shut down, which is a very crucial piece of equipment for this meeting coming up. So we're going to just ask for a 5-minute recess and your patience in waiting for us to resume. And Deputy Mayor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Hunter, all in favor?
Your worship, are we able to proceed yet, or?
Well, we just took a 5-minute recess, so I'm not sure how much of that is left. So just one
Okay.
second. and
I
we'll-
apologize for that. Technology is a wonderful thing, except when it fails.
Yeah, I know. Happens to me all the time. All right, so I believe we're ready to go and everything's in order again for the delay to everybody. And Mark, continue where he left off.
Thank you, Your Worship. In dealing with this variance application, we did receive some comments from the public, Your Worship. We did receive letters of support from Lois Hunter and Todd and Julie Rath, along with Daryl and Tracy Mantle. We also received some letters in opposition. So responses in opposition were from Dana Vang Farms, which is Chield and Diane Michelson, along with Simon and Lindsay Govea, and Josh and Madison Stewart. In particular, Your Worship, if I could, I would like an opportunity to respond to some of the points that Mr. Stewart raised in his submission. And I want to be quick about this because I know that time is of the essence. So as confirmed by the drainage superintendent, this property is not affected by a municipal drain. And that's confirmed by the drainage report conducted by Spreed Associates, which confirms the location of the drain. In terms of the final height of the building, that will be confirmed upon completion, including the grading work. In terms of noise concerns, at the end of the day, all properties are bound by the municipality's noise bylaw. And I should add that a business cannot be conducted within an accessory building in that particular zone. And then lastly, most importantly, in terms of visual impact, there's nothing to prevent the applicants to construct a building in this location in conformity with the maximum height and floor area requirements, in that the relief that is being sought is nominal from an impact standpoint when you compare what is allowed as of right. So I think that's important to consider at the end of the day. So as noted in my report, Your Worship, it is my recommendation that the application be approved and that no further notice be required as a result of the amended application, and also that the application be approved based on the reasons that are outlined in my report. That is my position, Your Worship. I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have, do we have the applicant here?
Yes, Your Worship.
Okay.
Jason Hutton.
So would he like to provide any additional information?
I'm bringing Jason over for comment.
Okay. Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
So Jason, I'm presuming did you have any additional information you want to provide?
I have no comments at this particular point in time.
Okay. Are there any members from the public in attendance who wish to provide comments?
Yes, Your Worship. I have Simon Govea.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you loud and clear, Simon. Would
Okay,
you-
good afternoon. Yes, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you can start whenever you're ready, so go ahead.
Okay, sure. So, yes, I guess the reason that we have voiced an opposition to the building is, I guess since before the building was made, there was, I know there was concern expressed about, you know, the height of the building, or just the location of the building and the fact that it does block out quite a lot of the view, and it's sort of a large and imposing building. So, but I was a little bit troubled to find out that this building is quite a bit over the height. I actually, well, the number that's given is 5.79 meters, which is, you know, we're saying right here and up front that it's over height. So my question is, how do we justify that it's okay? I'm not sure if I didn't actually catch his name at the very beginning, the gentleman that was speaking earlier. But I'm not sure if he touched on a justification for that. I don't think if he did, he didn't go into any detail, but I would like to understand a justification that it's okay for it to be over height. Like there's regulations and or you know, I guess rules here for a reason. So I'm curious. And further to that, so 5.79 I think is like, it's obviously too tall. That's like pretty tall. But in my email I outlined like I know that the drawing, like the steel structure is showing 18 feet 7 inches, and the concrete is below it is about 2 feet tall, is my understanding. And so that comes up to, I guess in feet, it was 20.6 feet. So almost double it. Like it's quite a bit. It's more than the 0.79 meters over in my mind. So I guess that would also be a point I would ask. Like if there's a application for variance to 19 feet and the building turns out to be 20 foot 6 inches, what's the process there is my question. And beyond that, I guess, yeah, the building, the footprint of the building isn't really, to me, a concern in that its size is it's a little bit over, but you know, it's, yeah, I guess that's pretty much, and the drain, I should also say, I guess the drain, the municipal tile, like there's definitely a drain there, whether it's, and my understanding is members of the community came together in 1975 or something like that to put it in place. If it's, you know, a private partnership between dwellings, I'm not sure how that works, but I know there's a drain there and it drains into the Kettle Creek River. So that's what I have to say.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. And I guess what you're looking for is you had some questions regarding the size, about the measurement with the foundation and the drain. So do you want to respond to that, Mr. Bancroft, or do you want to wait until we have all of them together?
No, I can respond to your worship.
Okay.
So in dealing with the height, as I indicated during my presentation, the final grade will ultimately be determined once, you know, should council approve the variance, the final grading associated with the building will assist in determining what the height of the building is going to be. So currently, there is no grading work done around the building, and that's not unusual at the building permit stage. But once the building is nearing completion, then it's a case of properly grading around the building, and then the height is determined as the tallest point of the building down to average grade. So based on this variance request, the applicant has applied for 5.79 meters. And should the variance be approved, he will have to abide by those requirements. So I guess that's the first point, Your Worship. The second point about drainage, there is no municipal drain that affects the subject property. There was photographic evidence that was provided in comments provided by, I believe, Mr. Stewart, which showed basically, you know, prior to the footing going in for the building, it showed some exposed drainage tile. And as confirmed by our drainage superintendent, because that tile is not either concrete or clay tile, it does not constitute the municipal drain, also as confirmed by the mapping provided by the drainage report. So There is no drainage matter involved with this subject proposal in regards to the Drainage Act. So that's those are my comments for now, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. And just a question, saying the grading around the building is complete yet?
I'm sorry, the audio was broken up.
That's okay. You're saying the grading wasn't complete around the garage?
Yeah, the grading is not completed.
Okay. And then so our building inspector will inspect it at that time?
That's correct.
Okay. Do we have any other people online for information?
Yes, Your Worship. We have Josh Stewart.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Mr. Stewart. The floor is yours whenever you're ready.
All right. So we're the property owner at 1214 Gladstone Drive. So our property is perpendicular to the subject property, 4936 Dorchester Road. We specifically look at the side yard where this accessory building is located. I've got a couple issues that I want to bring up today, in addition to our written submission earlier in the week. So this project is unfairly positioned to hear our concerns. We're absolutely disgusted with the applicant's attempt to build whatever they wish, regardless of the bylaws and the neighborhood feedback. The size and proposed location of this building should have been carefully planned with all stakeholders, including feedback from the surrounding neighbors. Prior to construction, we specifically asked for this building to be constructed further west on the property. Instead, we've been lied to multiple times about the size of this building, even after the building permit was issued. And we're absolutely livid that we did not get a minor variance notification back in the spring. And we might be younger. We're at a different stage in our life with 4 young kids, but we're entitled to the same property rights as any other homeowner in Thames Center. Regarding the building and drainage departments at Thames Center, there's been several mistakes within your organization which have contributed to this failed process. The building permit should have never been issued when you have a 15-page drawing package that's designed to hide the overall height of this building. Absolutely amazing how you can put every seismic load and force and pressure against the building, but you can't detail the overall height. After several attempts to investigate the Abbott branch with your drainage superintendent, I still challenge you that there is a municipal drain in this location. I'm absolutely confident that it is on top of a drain. And additionally, we expressed concerns with the height of this building at the end of September. It took more than 5 weeks to put this building on hold and force the applicant to submit a minor variance application. During this time, your building department approved the structural inspection and allowed the construction to proceed to its current stage. So as Simon mentioned, we do not agree with the height of this building. It's actually 20 to 21 feet and is just another attempt to undermine the actual size and impact of this building. And lastly, I am deeply worried about the negative impact this is going to have on our basement. This entire area of floods, which we've have photographic evidence all the way back to 1990, which was submitted to Mark Bancroft back in August of 2020. There was about 25 pictures that were submitted. This building does absolutely nothing to improve the flooding situation, and it actually makes our basement a higher risk for flooding now. So between the applicant and Thames Center, you guys have a legal mess on your hands. We firmly refuse to accept this building in this location at 4936 Dorchester Road. We look at this building all day, every day, and we refuse to accept this as a constant reminder how this building should have never been allowed in this position. And from our point of view, all options are on the table, including a lawsuit. And the most economical solution to this will be to remove the building, remove the foundation, reconnect the drain, and return that grade to the pre-construction state. We recommend that this building be constructed further west, right off the applicant's driveway. And if you want to continue to endorse this project, which does set a negative precedence with our municipal bylaws, regarding height, square footage, setbacks from municipal drains, will challenge you and the applicant to the next stage of the appeal process. That's all I've got for today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stewart. And now we're going to ask is there any other members from the public speaking about this, Alan?
No, your worship.
Okay, now any committee members have any questions regarding this application? Deputy Mayor Elliott?
Yes, through your worship. So these applications for oversized accessory buildings are fairly common. We just approved one back in October. It was report 063-21, where we approved a similar garage that was just over 1,900 square feet, a height of 18 feet. So generally speaking, these are fairly common to come to council, especially in rural residential areas or in our smaller hamlets. That one happened to be, I believe, in Welburn. So I'm really struggling with this application because generally speaking, we can't dictate where people build on their properties. It is their property. So my question to the director of planning would be, other than the minor variance, so it being that it's too tall and the square footage doesn't fit, so they would come as a minor variance. When it comes to property lines and all the other bylaws that we have in regards to property standards, does it fit into the box of all the other bylaws? Like for example, being so far off a property line, etc.
Through you, your worship, to the deputy mayor, yes, I can confirm that all other requirements have been met, including the setback to the property line. The only issue is relative to the height exceeding the maximum requirement and also the floor area. Thank you.
Any other questions? Tom? No, okay. I guess my concern is, is it a kit? Was it a kit that was ordered to build this garage? Like, is it a?
I believe it was, your worship. I'm not sure if the applicant is still on the line.
If you believe it was, then probably it is.
Yeah,
The measurements are already on the kit when you order it. So I guess I just don't know how you get from having measurements on a kit to having something that's an oversized building. And I guess what you're saying to me at the beginning is that it's the foundation that's increasing the height. So is that how we usually measure? We usually measure from the foundation up or from the bottom of the foundation? How does that, can you just enlighten me on that?
Yeah, certainly, your worship. So height is measured from the average finished grade up to the top of the structure. So finished grade is basically where the ground meets the building. And as I indicated earlier, the grading work has not been conducted because the building is still under construction.
Okay. And then I guess the only concern I have is that here we have a building that was built and became oversized and just the beginning to the end of the process. I mean, when it was oversized, it just took a long time. So I guess that's something I just want to acknowledge, that, this normally would have come to us as a minor variance and then being built. So like a lot of problems, I think, started because the building was started, grew larger, and then applied for the minor variance, which I could see would be a concern between the neighbors, because now we're at a place where, we have a half-built constructed building that more than likely, as Deputy Mayor Elliott said, when these have come before us in the past, there is no reason for us, if it's recommended by the planner, to turn it down. So it just becomes a bit of a hard one when it comes out of order like this, is my comment. And I'm not sure if there's any comments you want to make about the question about the drain. if there's anything you can enlighten us on that one.
Your worship, I have no further information to offer about the drain. Other than one thing that I have not mentioned is that there's a discrepancy from a mapping standpoint. And the discrepancy is the location of the drain that is provided in the drainage report by Spreet Associates compared to the location of the drain as shown on the municipality's composite mapping. Now, our composite mapping is basically a consolidation of all drainage reports where the layout is simply illustrated on one document, and it makes it very, very convenient for the life of our drainage superintendent because he's got an overall map that shows all the drains. But at the end of the day, the detailed specific location of the drain, one does not refer to the composite mapping. One goes to the source, which is the drainage report prepared by Spreets. And through that drainage report by Spreets, the municipality, through our drainage superintendent, is confident that the drain is not on this property. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor Elliott?
Yeah, I have a couple things, but I'll start with the drain. So I had a very lengthy conversation this morning with our drainage superintendent regarding this drain. As one of the members of the public are concerned that the engineer drawings from 1973 are not correct and don't reflect where the location of the drain is. And I asked our superintendent how exactly one would move forward on if they do not believe the engineer drawings, which is what the municipality would stand by. Essentially, according to our drainage superintendent, it would come down to the member of the public or any of their neighbors to request that locations be found, whether through a camera or taking a camera down through it, or doing a section 28 in order to request for improvement. However, that would come at the cost of those who benefit from the drain. And so I would put it on the floor to the members of the public who disagree that the drain is not located on Mr. Hutton's property, or that want to request improvement if they believe that their properties are flooding, and that is a direct result of this drain, would be that to file a section 28, again, that would be at the cost of those neighbors who benefit from the drain. My second question, my second comment is going to go to our director of planning, if you allow me to continue, your worship, would be, what are the steps should council decline this application in regards to Mr. Hutton's? So in terms of, he would have to take down the building as it stands. However, could he then reapply for a minor variance at the same location of where the shed is, essentially, and come back to reconstruct the building? Or would today's decision impact that?
Your worship, I can answer that question through you. So should the application be declined by council, or the committee of adjustment, I should say, the applicant would have the right of appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal. And so with an appeal to the tribunal, any activity associated with the building would be put on hold until the outcome of a hearing to adjudicate the merits of this variance proposal. So should the tribunal allow the appeal, then the building could be finished and constructed in accordance with that decision. Should the appeal not be allowed by the tribunal, then the applicant would more or less be forced to remove the building to ensure compliance with the bylaw, or make some structural adjustments so that it meets the maximum parameters as noted in the bylaw currently.
Any other questions, Council? Councillor Hunter.
So through your worship to the planner, so would the same apply if the neighbors appealed the decision?
Mark, did you hear Paul's question?
Your worship, his microphone wasn't turned on, so I didn't hear it.
Sorry, was that directed to me?
No, it's to the planner. And Paul, go ahead with your question again, because your microphone was on. I don't know if it was just not.
Oh, I didn't, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it on my end.
Okay,
Okay, no problem. Through your worship, so your previous comments just applied to the owner. So if he appealed, if the neighbors appealed, would the same conditions apply? Like he would have to?
Good question, Councillor Hunter. So through you, your worship, should council decide to approve this variance, then certainly any of the concerned neighbors would have the right of appeal, and it would be in the hands of the tribunal with the same outcome as noted earlier. You know, should the tribunal allow the building to remain, then I think that's the obvious. But if the building is not allowed, then of course removal of the building would need to happen.
okay. Any other questions, Council? No, okay. And the only thing I have is it's, as I said, we see these minor variances all the time. This has just been a very convoluted path to get to us. So, it's undoubtedly caused some hard feelings here, and that is a difficult situation. But we're ready to move on to our decision now. So, Council, do we have a decision ready? Deputy Mayor Elliott?
Yeah, through your worship, before I put a motion on the floor, I just want to say, as a member of council, I find that we have to remove the people of our decision, unfortunately, being that I think it's unfortunate the way this has turned out. I believe if there was some discussions that happened between the neighbors, I don't think we would be at this point right now. And that's really unfortunate, the way that has turned out. Again, these minor variances come to us all the time. And it being that it is only the minor variance and that all other bylaws are being followed. I'm not happy that this is coming to us after the fact, but I keep going back to what would I make the decision if nothing else happened? If this was just the application that came to us, what would my decision be? And I would support it. And so that I would move the planner's recommendation.
Seconder? Councillor Hunter? Okay, calling the vote, all in favor? Carried. So now I'm going to advise that the written notice of the decision will be forwarded to designated parties, and there's a 20-day appeal period. You may request to be notified of the decision by emailing the clerk. Now we have the minor variance application A2221, which is 27682220 Ontario Incorporated, care of Patent Landscape Services. The agent being SBM Limited Planning and Engineering, care of Laverne Kirkness, and the property location is south side of Gerald Parkway, Thorndale. So I'm going to ask our planning director to provide an overview of the application.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is an application for a relief from the zoning bylaw to allow a reduction in the minimum lot frontage requirements of the rural industrial M2 zone to satisfy conditions of a consent application. The subject property is a proposed lot situated on the south side and west end of Gerald Parkway in Thorndale. These lands are designated and zoned for industrial purposes. So this parcel was conditionally granted by council back in March of this year. And it allows for a parcel of land having a frontage of 35 meters, a reduced frontage of 35 meters, and an area of 2.18 hectares. So to satisfy one of the conditions of consent, this variance approval is necessary to permit a reduced frontage of 35 meters compared to 50 meters, which is the minimum requirement. The proposed lot has a reduced frontage to facilitate the future extension of Ideal Drive through a future draft plan of subdivision. So in the short term, Gerald Parkway is intended to veer south to form a north-south stretch of road that in the long term would align and connect with Ideal Drive once the intervening gravel pit owned by Middlesex County, once that ceases and it is redeveloped. I've conducted my analysis, Your Worship, and I'm satisfied that the 4 tests under the Planning Act have been met. In terms of comments received from the county engineer and the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, no comment or no objection. And from our drainage superintendent, he notes that a new drainage report will need to apply for the property. And once the report is complete, all drainage obligations will need to be met. In the circulation of the application, Your Worship, to members of the public, no comments or no responses, I should say, have been received to date. So it is my recommendation that the application be approved, as noted in my report, subject to the reasons outlined in my report. I'm here to answer any questions, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan, do we have the applicant agent here?
Yes, Your Worship. We have Laverne Kirkness.
Good afternoon, Laverne. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Committee members, excuse me, SBM planning, of course, acts for planning, patent, landscaping, and we have little to say because of Mark's thorough report and support for the application. And I suppose what we're really doing here is making a condition of consent that we knew about actually when the consent was granted. So we're just following up to check off those conditions of the consent. This is one of them, and we would appreciate that if the committee would support your staff report and our application moving forward. I'd be glad to answer any questions, but if there are any, but I have nothing really further to say about the well-described situation here that Mr. Brandcroft provided.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kirkness. And are there any members of the public in attendance who wish to provide comments?
No, Your Worship.
Okay, any committee members have any questions regarding this application? Seeing none, I'm going to ask the committee to make their decision on the application by resolution. Councillor Heeman? Okay, and that the application for minor variance by SBM Limited Planning and Engineering on behalf of 27682220 Ontario Incorporated be approved from relief from the Thames Centre Comprehensive Zoning Bylaw to allow reduced lot frontage. Okay, so seconder? Councillor Hunter, all in favor? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask the Committee of Adjustment to adjourn and council reconvene its regular meeting in order to continue with its deliberations. Moved by Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? Great. So the consent agenda, again, are considered routine and may require discussion, but no action on the part of council. So we have a 6.1 regular council minutes, 6.2 QP Ontario request for independent review of OMERS investment, 6.3 OMERS response to QP Ontario re-OMERS investment, and 6.4 Thames Centre Special Events Committee minutes for November 3rd, 2021. Anything need to be pulled out of there for discussion? If not, looking for a motion to accept them, 6.2 to 6.4. Councillor Heeman, seconded by Councillor Hunter. Yeah, I always miss the minutes. So including that is the regular council minutes of November 22nd, 2021 be adopted as presented, and then the consent items 6.2 to 6.4, and that'll be Councillor Heeman, Councillor Hunter, all in favor. I'm gonna have to start highlighting that one sentence that's in the middle of that because I always miss it. 3 years, you think you would have it down by now, but apparently not. So now we'll move on to the reports of departments. We have admin C1121 employees policies update. Who's taking this report? Okay, so we have Tina. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So the report is in regards to updating 5 employee policies. All of the changes have been highlighted in yellow, and the CAO and the clerk are here to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, were there any questions regarding this report? Nope, seeing none, then I have the report being received for information and that the employee policies is attached to the report be approved as presented. Looking for a mover, Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? Okay. And then we have now F1821, request for 2021 vacation to be carried into 2022. And this is a F. So this is a financial report. Gee, I look at that, 3 years and I finally figured that out. No. So welcome, Ms. Grogan.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. Report F-018-21, request for 2021 vacation to be carried into 2022 is before you for consideration. The CAO and myself would be happy to answer any questions you may have in regards to the report.
Any questions, council? I think Councillor Heeman.
Just a comment. I think that it's well earned. And it's been a challenging year, and I know we've had a lot to catch up on. And again, because of the pandemic, and I think we can all attest to how great that effort was with the previous budget session. So I think that you have some well earned time.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? No, so we have a motion in front of us that we receive the report and that the Director of Financial Services Treasurer be authorized to carry over up to 5 additional vacation days into 2022. Moved by Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? All right, so now we have F1921, Development Charge Indexing 2022.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. Report F-01921, Development Charge Indexing 2022 is before Council for information. Bylaw 69-2018 outlines development charge rates for the municipality of Thames Centre. The bylaw includes section 17, bylaw indexing, which stipulates that an annual adjustment shall be applied as of January 1st of each year, in accordance with the most recent 12-month change in the non-residential building construction price index. The index for 2022 calculates out to 11.6%, which results in an increase in the charge for a single detached dwelling with urban servicing from $34,674 to $38,697. The increase is reflective of increases experienced in the cost of installing infrastructure, which has been felt by Ontario municipalities over the past year. We would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council, any questions regarding this report? No. Okay, so looking for mover. Deputy Mayor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Heeman. All in favor? So carried. And then we have F2021 Financial Indicator Review. And again, Ms. Grogan, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Report F-020-2021 is before Council for information. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing reviews each municipality's financial performance through the use of key financial indicators in relation to established provincial thresholds based on a municipality's financial statements, as well as our financial information return. The municipality's provincial financial indicators show that all financial risk levels are low challenge, indicating very good financial health. health. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Well, when you have good financial help, you get good financial health. I think that's what you were trying to say there. So, council, any questions for Director Grogan? Councillor Heeman?
Yeah, I just want to thank the treasurer for bringing this forward, because I think, you know, when we look at all these different files and we have a number of different, I would say, unique financial instruments that we employ within the municipal sector, that it's important to have an objective outside opinion. And again, we all feel that we're doing a good job based on the positive working relationship we have. But I think it's also good to have that outside perspective that is confirming that. And I know that we do that through these provincial audits. And so I think it's an important step for public transparency to have these shared. And again, I think the things that we've said after the last budgeting exercise have been borne out year after year, and it's good to share our successes.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion in front of us that the report be received as information. So looking for a mover. Councillor Hunter, seconded by Councillor Heeman. All in favor? So carried. Next, we have PDS BD 00821 Municipality of Thames Center Building Bylaw. And this, it says PDS. So this is Aaron. There we go.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good afternoon, Council. This report in front of you is a report to bring forward a new building bylaw to replace the existing bylaw. And as you're aware, earlier this year, we approved new fees for the building department for building permits, and the existing fees are in the existing building bylaw. So removing them and putting with the fees and charges, we need to update our building bylaw. And then we've also made some changes to the new building bylaw. Just to go over some of the changes there, other than introduce the new fees, we've made some changes to the septic permitting and septic applications. So we're making some more requirements for septic applications to standardize those across the municipality. We have also introduced the requirement for grading plans for all pools in urban areas to avoid conflict of water affecting neighboring properties. And we are also requiring surveys and grading elevations for all new homes at foundation stage. That covers off the main aspects to the bylaw. Majority of the rest remains unchanged. So I'll open up to council.
Council, any questions? Just a matter of moving one to the other, I think. I don't think it's any too complicated. So no questions. And I'm looking for a decision. So Deputy Mayor Elliott moves, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? Carried. And then next we have PDS BD 00921 Code of Conduct for Chief Building Official and Inspectors. And yours again, Aaron?
Yes, it is. Thank you, Your Worship. This is basically a new policy being implemented. It's a requirement on the Building Code Act that all inspectors and building officials act in certain code of conduct, right? Standards of behavior. So I'm bringing this forward. It's came into the Building Code Act a number of years ago, right? So we're just kind of updating and bringing it forward to add to our policy manual. If I have any questions, feel free to open the council.
Okay, council, any questions for our chief building official? Nope. Okay, so we have the report to be received as information and that it be adopted and incorporated into the corporate policy manual. Looking for a mover, Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? So passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, CS 01621, Student Summer Staff Lifeguard Wage Grid 2022-2024. And there is our Director McDonald on the screen. It's going very fast now. Got everybody just coming on and off. So whenever you're ready, Steve.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Your Worship, through you. Good afternoon, Council. Before you is report CS 016-21 regarding the student summer staff lifeguard wage grid. For your information and to seek your approval to adopt the updated wage grid effective January 1st, 2022. This wage grid is brought before council on a regular basis about every 3 years. The update before you has factored in the provincial government's proposed increase in the general minimum wage to $15 per hour, which is set to be effective on that same date, January 1st of next year. In addition, this adjustment should allow Thames Centre to continue to attract and maintain quality staff for our positions. With this adjustment, there would be no other pay increases for these positions until 2024, other than the year-to-year step increases. That means, for example, there would not be any consumer price index adjustments for the next 3 years. You can view the proposed wage grid and the proposed changes under the financial implications section of this report. And I'm happy to answer any questions that council might have at this time.
Council, any questions? Okay, anybody want to apply to be lifeguard at some point? Might be a conflict of interest now, but in the future, it might be a good job. Okay, so now we're looking for a motion to receive this report for information and that council approves staff's recommendation to adopt the new student summer staff lifeguard wage grid for the term of 2022 through 2024. Looking for a mover, Deputy Mayor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? So carried. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Next, we have the mayor's report. Okay, so November 23rd, I attended county council, and then 24th, Kettle Creek Conservation Authority meeting. November 25th, there was an early morning. We drove down to SCORE meeting in Norwich, where we had some presentations by the County of Oxford regarding their economic development. And an interesting report from Libro talking about the gap in communities in rural areas, banking, and seeing what they might or might not be able to do for those communities that have lost their banking services. And November 27th, I attended the Warden's Banquet in Lucan, and that was an exercise in learning how 3 different municipalities do their snowplow driving home. I went through 3 municipalities with various degrees of snow plowing done, so I was relieved to get to Thames Centre where it was pretty good. November 29th, I attended a meeting with the Thames Valley District School Board that was here. And that, if you remember, the motion brought forward by Deputy Mayor Elliott, it was that meeting and was attended by our rural school trustees, Arlene Morel and Sean Hunt from Middlesex, Jeff Voigt and Ben Pusinoff, representing the Thames Valley School Board, Deputy Mayor Elliott, Mike Henry, to our CEO, and the Director of Planning, Mark Bancroft. We had a general discussion. We were able to discuss the demographics expected in the next few years and gave an update on our early years center. It was a very productive meeting. December 1st, we had our last emergency control group meeting for 2021. December 2nd, we had the county council meeting where I was honored to be appointed warden for the County of Middlesex for the next term. And at this time, I would also like to thank my council here for supporting me and in this, and it was very much appreciated. December 6th, I did actually my first health unit update on Rogers. So that was an interesting time. That was just when we got the Omicron virus coming in. And then December 7th, we had our last council meeting for the year. It was very interesting. We had a presentation by Craig Cooper from the City of London, giving us a housing and homelessness update and outlining the various responsibilities of the county and of the city. December 10th, I had a Kettle Creek meeting at 1 o'clock that day. And then that evening was able to attend the Thorndale Lions Christmas Parade, where I was very relieved that the rain and high winds held off. And it was really great to see everyone out there with the decorated floats, and a good time was had by all. And that concludes that report. So do we have any unfinished business? No, seeing none. A notice of motion, anything on the table? Nope. New business? Nope. So now we are going to go into closed session, meeting for which there will be no live streaming. A new live stream will continue after the closed session portion has been completed. So now I'd like a motion that council go into closed session pursuant to section 2392C of the Municipal Act, being a proposed or pending acquisition of disposition of land with respect to municipal property. Moved by Councillor Hunter, seconded by Deputy Mayor Elliott. All in favor? Okay, so we are going into close now. Now we have to go over to our own closed stuff. Tom, were you waiting? We're
Yeah,
just waiting.
nothing. Okay, I just wasn't getting any
No,
audio.
we're just waiting for Alan.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, and welcome back to Temp Center council meeting on 13th of December, 2021. And coming out of closed session, the council provided direction to municipal staff in respect to proposed acquisition of municipal property related to offers received to Crampton Park surplus lands. So now we're moving into, just go up to my agenda again. Bylaws. Can these be done all together? Okay. So we have bylaw 89, 2021 to 94, 2021 be approved as presented. Is there any reason anybody wants to take one of these out separately and discuss it? No? Okay, then I'm asking you for a mover to accept these bylaws as presented. Deputy Mayor Elliott, seconded by Councillor Hunter. All in favor? Okay, so our next meeting will be, I guess, January 10th. Wow, so that's an exciting time. We've got a bit of a break between meetings there. And then also, I think 15.1 is a request for a special meeting, a visioning session regarding planning and development be scheduled on Valentine or February 14th, 2022 at 9 a.m. And there's a motion that the special visiting session meeting concerning planning and development be scheduled on Monday, February 14th, 2021 at 9 a.m. All right. 2022, yeah, no. You know what? It says 2021 in front of me, but I should have gotten onto that one too. I'm going back in time. All right, so Councillor Hunter, so moved, seconded. Councillor Heeman, all in favor? Okay. And you're in favor, Tom? Okay, and then a motion to adjourn that we're done at whatever time it is, 2:17, and moved by Councillor Heeman, seconded by Councillor Hunter, all in favor, done, and Merry Christmas to all and to all. Good afternoon.